Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will introduce three methods to block invalid access FortiGate. What I defined invalid access when your FortiGate is in internet and some of external IP address access your FortiGate and use the wrong credential like kind of tag or information collection. So I define this one is an invalid access to FortiGate. So I want to automatic block them. So there's three methods to do it. If your network is in the AWS, that will be easy. You can go to the pub.kb.fortinet.com/index. From here, you search Lambda. There's a KB, and we open it. In this KB, he will define the basic described how to do it. You can configure basic block policy and group, and create AWS Lambda function and modify function to use Python script called FortiGate API and integrate webhook and Lambda function on FortiGate. So there's some details method to do it. So when you has a FortiGate in the AWS, you can follow this KB, do most of the things. Okay. If you said, okay, I do not have AWS FortiGate and we do not have the Lambda, do we have a method to block this kind of access? Yeah, definitely it has a function to do it. In the second method, I just introduce use the FortiGate, integrate with FortiSIEM and FortiSOAR, and put together to achieve this requirement. I use the 6.45, and then let me do a basic check here. In here, we can see we have a server interface, and we can see the interface 1 is public internet public facing, and the interface port 2 is internal. And for block such of access, we need to define a local in policy to block, but this one I will show you in command line. For easy to use it, so we just define address. In here, we can see firewall port 1 IP at here, firewall port 2 IP at here, and then this is a test IP address, and 2.2.2. This is a public, should not access to us. And then we create a group block dash port 1, block dash port 2. I put the test IP address at here. This group contain the interface name. So this one will used to determine where it's come, and in here where we use it. Show firewall local in policy. Yeah, in here we can see because local in policy is based on the source interface. Based on the interface, we can see this is port 1, and then we define address group block port 1 group, and then destination is firewall port 1 IP. Service we use the SSH. You can also put SSH, TTPS, all kind of things. The action is deny. Local into second policy is the same, just the interface change to port 2, and source address group name use the block port 2. So integrated to FortiSIEM, show log. Okay, we can see we set this syslog D is enable, and set server is all FortiSIEM IP address. So it will send all the log to the FortiSIEM. Okay, so currently we at here is clean, and we can see the address member is test, and in the FortiSIEM, when we access is invalid, it will be generate alert at here. So let me generate traffic. Okay, let me see. This one is 97. I use a non-exist username. Okay, that one is invalid, too many authentication failed, and this one will generate a log for the invalid access, and then FortiGate will send to FortiSIEM. FortiSIEM will integrate with the FortiSOAR. In here, we have FortiSOAR, we have connectors. In connectors, we have defined the FortiSIEM. You can see this one is configured, and the health check is available. The IP address is here. We provide a username password, and he has some actions and playbook. This is FortiSIEM, and we also integrate with the FortiGate. Our FortiGate is at here, and this one is use the API key, and we have 443, and it also has an action. Yeah. After this connector, so we have a data injection. So we can see FortiSIEM is connected with the FortiSOAR, and every minute FortiSOAR will be pulling the FortiSIEM the information. If you have a look whether the alert is coming, still not coming. Yeah, let me. Oh, okay, it's coming. So let me see alert incident response. Because this is every minute to polling, so we not get it yet. The most important thing in the FortiSOAR is the playbook. Yeah, we can see this one is array. This is the account log and the network device. This is the name. So let me see here. We can see this is a playbook is running. What this one achieved? Let me have a look in here. FortiGate. Let me refresh here. Okay, so we can see this is a new created host object, and then in the group, this one is at here. So put this one is mean this one is not allowed. This one is blocked. So we go to here, do a test again. Yeah, we can see this one is totally blocked. So we could not log into the firewall to do further further attack. Let me explain how it's going. Yeah. When this alert is coming, it's a trigger a playbook. So let me see the playbook. In here, the playbook, I have used this one. This is uncreated, is not a manual created playbook. This means when we have defined result is alert, and then source equals FortiNet FortiSIEM. That one is FortiSIEM is information is source, name is account log. When this alert is arrive FortiSOAR, and it will trigger this playbook. After trigger this playbook, it will create a record. So create a record, we can see sort of advanced. So what we care about is the source data from the create. We care about is source data. And after we got the source data, we set a variable. From the created record, we got the source data attribute. What we care about is the source IP address and the incident report IP. What's this mean? This mean this is like an attacker IP address, and this is the incident report. This is a FortiGate IP address. This is what we needed. After we got this parameter, and we will create an address. We use the utilities, make a REST API call from the incident report IP, and then we use post function, put the source IP address, h dash source IP address as a name, source IP address /62 as a subnet, and then content type we use the application JSON. After this one, we will create create a object address in the FortiGate. And this one, because there were a lot of output, so we only care about is the MK key is the host name. In the same time, we have another REST API call. In here, we will query interface. This is the FortiGate, and we get use the monitor and queue router lookup and destination. We got that one, the source IP address from which interface is coming, and then we same as this one, we have a lot of output. We only care about is the interface, and put two together. Put the IP, use another REST API call, and put here. We can see this is address group. Address group use the block and the port number as a group name, and put the host we created the attacker IP address at here, and put this one use a application JSON to move it to the group. So let's have a look at the result. So we can see this one is created, and this is when it's triggered. Here, triggered. You can see we define the source is Fortinet FortiSIEM, and another is the field name. We use the account log as this alert, and they use the logic is AND. This one is trigger, and that is working. Let's display book working, and then from here we can see the input is this output as an input at the source data, and then our output is at here. And because we only care about the source data, from source data we can see attributes, and we got is a source IP address and incident report IP address. This is the output from here. Well, because that one is too much information, so we just care about the source IP address and incident report IP. So the output is these two IP address, and then this is the result. We just create this is URL and the body and use the post because and the header is here because we want to create a IP address, and successful. So this is the address name, and we can see it here. Successful, and because this data is too much, so we only need is from the input we only get M key, and this is the host name. This part is done, and then we create a host address, and here we use to check which interface is coming. In here we use the query source IP address routing method. Same at here. URL we use the monitor API. We try to get the source IP address and the routing, and then from here we can see the data. That this is the result. You can see the gateway, network, and the success interface. And like before, we do not need so many information. We only need this interface. So we use this set variable. Yeah, we only care about the interface from the previous result. So that one is set port 1. This is a part of group name. So we have this one, so we can define which group, and from here we can see which host need to put in the group, and this is the result. These two input. We can see we put the member, and we have this is the group name block. This is the port 1. So the output, and this one is block port 1. This is the address group. and then the status is successful. So after that, so we can see this one has local in policy created here and put in the correct group, and then we have a blockade. So use the FortiGate, FortiSIEM, and FortiSOAR, we can achieve this block invalid access. So this is a very powerful solution because FortiSOAR is very powerful and flexible. And another thing, if you want to ask, okay, we do not have a FortiSIEM, we do not have a FortiSOAR. Do we have a solution to achieve same result? Okay, FortiGate is really powerful, and we have an automation function. In here, I use FortiGate 7.0 as an example. We have a automation, so we put that here, and we use the trigger. We can define the trigger and action, and go into the stitchy, and we can use this one, admin login fail. This is from the FortiOS event log, and then there's an event when the admin login fail, it will trigger. This is the trigger. Okay. And action, we have a webhook. So use webhook, and then we can define which use the HTTP as HTTP protocol and put to the server, and this is the link, and then the customer the port, use the post method. Content type, we use the application JSON. This is the HTTP header, and HTTP body we have do some modify. Traditional, we just put all the log. You can see here, hold log, all fields from the log, or for another trigger this stitchy. But as we talked before, we do not need so many information. We only need is a source IP and destination IP. Even this destination IP is not needed. Anyway, we just put that here. And then we have another one is called update. Because this is the new feature, Microsoft Teams notification. So when this one is triggered, and he will be send information to the Microsoft Teams. Okay. This one is 89. Let me write in the here 89. Okay. In here, this is the destination server. 10.56.143, the webhook will put information to here. What we here to do, we have used the Flask, import Flask and request. And here, this is the token, and this is the application. Do you still remember the route when we put to the field admin? And this method we support post and get in here. See webhook. So we can see the URI is a field admin. So that means they will send to here, post to here. And this one we must method we need to put both post and get, because webhook use post. And then we define a function and block the field admin. And let's see the main. So we run this application and we enable debug. The listening port is 8000, host is any. So after this is running, he will be like a web server running in 8000, listening in 8000 interface. When there's a port is post arrive, we will get the remote address. This is like previous report IP address. This is the FortiGate IP address. This is why I said we do not need the destination IP address. That's one is we already get it, and we print this one, and then we decoding and find the data, the source IP and the destination IP, and so we use the get interface function. From get interface function, we have query and get the route information, and then return back. And we only need the interface part. We do not need a gateway or kind of things. And then we send a block, and we what's this two? This is add IP to a group. So in here, because we have the source IP, we create this name, and we use the address, use post. This means is create. We create this host address, and then because we already got the port, so we know the address group name. We add here. But this time, as we use the Python, we can do more things. We can grab the guaranteed member, and then we add this one appended to the member, and then create it. So that will be not like a previous show is only for demo. It will replace the previous. Okay, let's rewrite. A little bit slow. Okay. Okay, so we can see this one is running. This one is debug is on and is running in the 8000 interface. That means this is interface, all the interface in this server is open listening. Okay, let's see. This one is 89. Okay, this is wrong one. Okay, so let me have a look. What we got? We said FortiGate IP address is 89, and then we get is port 1, and add address status is successful, and add group status is 200, and then we send a message said add this one to group block 1 was a success. So let me go to here. In here we go to policy objects, address. You can see this one is create, and it put local in. We can see the previous the test still exists. This is just added to here. So this is appended. So we can see this is the result. Okay. And then we can do test again. Yeah, this one is blocked, so we could not get prompt. So that one is local in is working. So this means we have a 3 method to achieve the same thing, to block the invalid access. Okay. This is all for today. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. See you next time.